morning that I am unashamedly proud to be an American. I still got to kind of get misty-eyed every time I hear the national anthem. I can't hardly get through the national anthem at the Super Bowl when it comes on television. I get misty-eyed. And on this weekend, we've heard the term patriotic used a lot. We see our nation's flag on display about every place we look. A lot of communities throw festivals and celebrations. We see and hear fireworks. Kind of thought last night of a neighbor who was in downtown Baghdad. We get to hear the bands and the orchestras and the symphonies play those great patriotic anthems and hymns to celebrate the birth of our nation. Webster's dictionary, Merriam-Webster, defines patriotism as a love or devotion for one's country. Our founding fathers were very, very intelligent men. Some of the things that they wrote that as you go back in history, I think that is one of the greatest detriments that we have is that we don't spend more time looking back at what they wrote. Thomas Jefferson said that patriotism is not a short or frenzied burst of emotion, but the long and steady dedication of a lifetime. I couldn't find the author of this quote, but they said to be born free is a privilege, but to die free is an awesome responsibility. We hear people talk about on the news and constantly about our economic downturn. But the wealth and the luxury that we have come to know and expect in our nation is a gift that's been passed on to us at an incredible price. Of those 56 men who signed the Declaration of Independence, very few of them were long to survive. 5 were captured and tortured. 12 had their homes sacked, looted, and occupied and burned. 2 lost their sons in battle. 1 had 2 sons captured. 9 of the 56 died in the war. Those men who met in that hot summer in Philadelphia, they weren't poor. They weren't wild-eyed pirates. They were men, as you study and read about them, they were men of means. They were rich. Most of them enjoyed much ease and luxury in their personal lives. They were landowners. They were secure in their prosperity, and they were well respected in their community. But the thought of not having liberty and freedom caused them to set aside those things that were secure to them. The things that they enjoyed and they pledged, as they said in the Declaration of Independence, their fortunes, their sacred honor, and their lives. And they paid the price for the freedom and liberty we won. Thomas Paine in 1776 says, "What we obtain too cheaply, we esteem too lightly. It is dearness only that gives everything its value, and heaven knows how to put a price on its goods. And it would be strange indeed if so celestial an article as freedom should not be highly rated." Again, Thomas Jefferson said, "Can the liberties of a nation be secure when we have removed the conviction that these liberties are the gift of God?" What I find interesting is as you go back and you study history, and the history of that time during the American Revolutionary War, that the shipments of Bibles had been cut off. For more than 150 years, the Bible had been the basis that the early settlers, the colonial government, had used for education and their religious devotion. It was in 1780 that the Congress directed a committee to import 20,000 Bibles from Holland and Scotland and from wherever they could be obtained. In 1781, Congress approved the printing of the first printing in America of the Bible by Robert Aiken, who is the publisher of the Philadelphia Magazine. And history provides us with the source the thing that was most cited, the source that was most cited at the Constitutional Convention by our founding fathers was the Bible. Most people would think today that you were lying to them if you were told them that the Ivy League schools like Harvard and Yale and Princeton and Dartmouth and Columbia and William and Mary were established for one purpose. And the purpose that they were established was for the training of ministers to share the gospel of Jesus Christ and evangelize the Atlantic seaboard. Come a long ways, haven't we? Harvard's rules and precepts adopted in 1646 included the following. Everyone shall consider the main end of his life and studies to know God and Jesus Christ, which is eternal life. And 52% of the 17th century Harvard graduates became ministers.